Time. When you watch Doctor Who, time is very often a thing. Time Lords, time machines, clocks, and time and the art of timing is something that I just wish Chris Chibnall would... With no disrespect to the effort Chibs put in during his tenure as showrunner, which was a tough gig because Doctor Who needed to follow up on all the other Doctor Who before it, and to showcase the talents of the first ever female Doctor, which is a big deal in itself, Chibnall and all the relevant production crew seem to have a bit of a problem with utilising the natural flow of time. Like when at least 10 episodes worth of storytelling gets squished into the space of 6 episodes as seen in the epic parpiness that was Flux, or taking the pivotal moments of the 13th Doctor era and shoving them all the way back into one last episode, which is also the centenary special. More problems with Chibnall's timing to come. Just what a bizarre idea this 2022 free special episodes thing is. And only now do I realise how the term special is used, well, pretty loosely. I liked Eve of the Daleks. It was January 1st. British party time had finished, and so came a sobering tale of being stuck in an empty warehouse at night time with very little company in a literal time loop. This episode fit like a glove. Really, I thought it was great. Standalone Doctor Who storytelling done right. But with it came the impending fear that time was running out for the troubled saga of number 13 to end on a high. I was worried then, and I'm even more worried now. When your airtime is starkly finite, you gotta make every second count. Everything has to have meaning. You can't just take what is essentially a random story and drop it alone and butt naked in the middle of Easter with nothing surrounding it. The same thing happened in 2009. It wasn't great, and now they've done the same thing again, 13 years later, the mad gooses. But I suppose some Doctor Who is better than no Doctor Who. Chosen Chimp here. Firstly, spoilers of every sort coming your way. If you haven't watched it and you want to watch it, then don't watch this. But then come back after and watch the video and share it with all your friends. Thank you very much. Secondly, if you liked Legend of the Sea Devils, Hickman, then I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I liked some of it too. The whole point of watching Doctor Who is to have fun, and if you did, then you win. Ultimately, this video is just the musings of a chimp, objective and irrelevant in equal measure. Let's get into it. The story begins in the year 1807 on Chinese waters, and Madame Ching, the pirate queen of legend, is on the hunt for the lost treasure of the Fleur de la Mar, causing her at the beginning to chisel this statue to bits. That is a really cool statue, by the way. But wait, it's not just a statue, it's this radical sea devil troublemaker, or more precisely, Chief Sea Devil. An actual name would have helped, but never mind. Dressed for the occasion is the Doctor, Yaz, and shiver me bishops, it's Dan the Pirate. Now we're cooking on all hobs. The Doctor's earring is giving her jip, and that's because of a kinetic hypercurve. Yeah, why is that there? Soon enough, the Doctor and the slippery Sea Devil lock steely glares with one another just after he's done killing folk in this village. Yep, that sword is pretty cool, I guess, but being the 40-year-old fart that I am, I much prefer their 70s blasters. But I suppose their tech developed relative to human tech, kind of. Alright, swords get a pass. And when exactly did you guys get round to setting up that trap? I really don't follow what happens in this bit at all. And it was all for naught anyway, because giant floating land boat thing. I want one. A pirate ship stolen by the Sea Devils. It's cute. Good jumping there. The Sea Devil Chief has woken up his wet scaly brethren along with the Wa Shen, which, I'll give it this much, is significantly more intimidating than the Merker. I'm glad I'm not fishing, minding my own business and trying to make an honest living in the middle of the sea when this thing is about. So Dan and the young whippersnapper Ying Kai attempt to manually storm the boat via Madame Ching's pirate vessel, with mixed results, while the Doctor and Yaz massively cheat their way to an easy victory by using the TARDIS to travel back 274 years to the Fleur de la Mar and snaffle the lost treasure from the also legendary Ji-hun in order to bring Madam Ching on side. Two different ages of Chinese nautical myth crashing together, which is fun. I'm really into that. Ji-hun's throwing everyone off his boat because he's supposedly in league with the Sea Devils. It's not going well. Well, that fills in that narrative gap. Time to go forward again. This time to the bottom of the ocean. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? The Doctor calls this a date, and whoa, hold up a second. More on that later. Saved by the sea monster. By the way, if you try and shoot it with cannons, it'll just send the cannons right back at you, and they'll all explode against each other. Very precise for a giant monster with no arms. Ching is able to plot coordinates with the stars, which is cool, except they are moving because of this guy here. You would not believe the scheme he has cooked. It's flipping ridiculous. And it's got nothing to do with playing the Crystal Maze. Look at this here! Ching is only looking for the treasure to pay a ransom and get her sons back. We've all been there. She's not the real bad guy here. The Doctor and Yaz arrive in Sea Devil HQ and Ji-hun is there too, in stasis. Turns out that like Madam Ching, Ji-hun's also not really the bad guy. He was only sending his crew to the drink to give them a chance to escape from this, the only true villain of the piece, Chief Sea Devil. There you go, folks. That's the baddie, being all bad. The Doctor says Sea Devils usually abide by a code of honour. We all know that's true, but this one does not. Unfortunately, folks, that makes this concept a little wooden when put alongside basically every Silurian TV story ever. Doctor Who and the Silurians was one of the earlier examples in Doctor Who of the Doctor failing to score the victory, of the baddies not really being baddies and the goodies not really being goodies. It ends with UNIT blowing up their underground base to the Doctor's shock and horror. A couple of seasons down the line and he's got to cause the same thing to happen to the Sea Devils in order to prevent a full-scale war. And let's not forget that marvellously harrowing closing moment of Warriors of the Deep, when it's a flipping massacre on both sides and the Doctor, in a state of black-eyed anguish, says there should have been another way. Failed. More examples like this in Modern Who and you get the pattern. It's all about the resulting catastrophe that ensues between warring factions when problems are not solved at the negotiating table with peaceful dialogue. And both sides, human and Reptilicus, were neither right nor wrong, just grossly misunderstanding of each other, with the Doctor attempting to broker peace but never quite being able to get control of the situation. It's great storytelling, but not this time around. It's just good, bad, donk on the head. I hate to tell you this, but I think the Sea Devils were wasted on this adventure. They could have told this story with any number of stash-twirling mid-carders. They could have told it with the Vord. The Vord like going around on boats attacking humans. They missed a trick. So this treasure everyone's been clambering for is actually a keystone. Sea Devil technology capable of changing things in a big way, like wrecking the whole Earth big. Oh, here we go. Chief intends to shift the magnetic poles of the Earth and cause all kinds of ecological buggery to our planet. Basically, the Earth will be a big ocean. I'm not sure if your cave-dwelling cousins will be grateful about that. Either this guy doesn't care, or he just hasn't thought it through. The Keystone is in fact guarded by young Ying Ki. He's the descendant of the guy who Ji-hun sent to escape with the Keystone 3 centuries prior, and the powers of this Keystone entombed Chief Sea Devil in stone for all that time, and we're caught up, more or less. The Doctor says Geronimo twice, get your own, and this is a pirate adventure, so yeah, of course, sword fights. It's very much in keeping with the tone of the episode, it's all good. One of the Sea Devils gets impaled, and they make the retro screaming sound also heard when Pertwee sets off all those landmines back in the day, so that's a nice touch. Dan takes the bull by the horns. He cuts down a swathe of Sea Devils in just 2 strikes and then claims that his mum taught him to do that. No, your mum's Jackie Corkill, mate. I don't think that's fully the truth, is it, Dan? The Doctor tinkers with the Sea Devil's modified ship, turning it into a sort of dense gravity well, I think. And yeah, who'd have thought that shot of Ji-hun that we saw in the trailer all those months back was actually his death scene, the cheeky rascals. He gives up his life so that others may live, and Madam Ching has all the swag she needs to bring her fam back. All's well that ends well. Dan even smooths things over with Diane, saviour of Flux, over the phone. Job really is a good un. Right then, so far there are 2 thematically linked elements to the 2022 specials. One of them is when are they going to get to the beach? the nice beach. The other is Year Teen, Phasmin. So this development in Legend of the Sea Devils I find quite interesting. In my Eve of the Daleks video, worst thumbnail ever, I theorised that the Doctor would have zero intentions of reciprocating on Yaz's affections. After all, she's a 2,000-year-old alien who is emotionally frazzled because of the timeless child revelation, so she simply does not have the time in her head to even address how she feels about this. I still feel like I was sort of close on this, kind of, but not quite, because it turns out she does like Yaz. She literally says it. Well, I suppose Doctor and Rose, that was a thing. Also worthy of note is that the Doctor acknowledges that she once had a wife, which is important because that relationship took some real patience and commitment to get into full swing, as it should have, because the Doctor and Riversong were very complex characters, and so they went through a lot together before they got all settled at the Singing Towers. A lot. By comparison, this is happening awfully quick, but, to put somewhat cynically, I'll take whatever drama this era can give me at this point. I have no problems with how the Doctor carries herself during this beach scene at the end, because she clearly states that she can't make good on those feelings because the resulting heartbreak and pain, which follows being in a relationship with a mortal human and a 2,000-year-old Time Lord with problems of their own, is too much to bear. In that regard, I think they completely nailed the tone and balance of this scene. The problem is that the whole thing has been squashed into the closing moments of the second-to-last episode off the back of subtle insinuations which were made, well, too late in the running. It's that timing thing again. It feels like it's been tagged on when it should have been at the heart. It's the most interesting thing going on. And yes, by all accounts, it's an LGBTQ story. Representation is important, and it means a great deal to a lot of people. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that Doctor Who is an ideal place for this. All the more reason why they have to make these plot lines count. I like it, I'm invested, but likewise it feels like it's been treated like a post-it note that's been slapped onto a big fridge full of black hole-sized explosions and large-scale threats that seem to land with little or no emotional impact. I don't know why all that would be in your fridge, but you'd never know with Chris Chibnall. Overall, I'm not saying I disliked Legend of the Sea Devils. For one thing, I think a lot of the dialogue is really slick. It was a fun, fast-paced adventure. I just think it could have been a little more, a little better, or failing that, just an episode in a series. As it stands, in 2022, Special 2 of 3, it didn't serve any real purpose. It is kind of like Sunken Treasure, except it's not really treasure, just a standard bit of Doctor Who. Right then, that trailer. Look at her face there. I like how guttural her voice is when she screams Yaz. I got a little chill from that. Oh yeah, Vinder. Possibly the Doctor's dad. Like this episode won't be busy enough. Centenary special under the BBC 100 banner. Also the 300th televised Doctor Who story, depending on how you count. You got 2 masters for the price of one, a smooth one and a weirdy-beardy one. My fan theory here is that Sacha Dhawan is reprising his role as Waris Hussein because I like saying stupid things. Ace is back! Yes, yes, yes and yes to that. Tegan as well! I remember when she left. It was because she was disgusted by the increasing violence in her adventures. That's a very big gun. What other Doctor Who stuff would you like me to talk about? Sound off in the comments and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a good one.